Hey everybody, welcome back to FSi DFS. Hope you're all having a wonderful week. Small 5-game slate here, and we have the top 3 teams who strike out the most against right-handed pitching. So it's going to be a really intriguing slate with that, with some high upside and some bats and some chalk that we probably haven't seen too much so far this season. So let's look at the odds real quick here. Here we go. These are the games that we're talking about. All the home teams are slate favorites. Cleveland is the biggest favorite on the entire slate at minus 180. In that game is also the highest implied run, or the highest run total at an over-ender of 10.5. So Cleveland is going to have the highest implied run total, and they're kind of the chalk that I was talking about that probably hasn't seen too much chalk so far this season, just with how their offense is produced, we'll say. So you can see the odds here. Again, home favorites slightly in the majority of them. We got some nice pitching matchups in Tampa Bay, Miami, and Minnesota versus Seattle. So let's just kind of dive right through all of these pitchers. Ryan, Eflin, Miller, and Peralta are the top 4 in terms of salary. Peralta's kind of the oddball out there. Peralta had a great game against Cincinnati, the same Cincinnati squad, 10 days ago. Went 6 innings, no earned runs. But I always do give a slight edge towards the bats in that second matchup if it is within 2 weeks after seeing him. So Peralta, he's got the blow up potential for sure. He's not the same pitcher as he was in years past. And we've kind of seen it throughout the season. It's been pretty up, down, up, down. So I think him compared to the other 3 pitchers on the slate up at the top, he's definitely the oddball guy out. Eflin, I think, provides the best floor. Now, Seattle and Minnesota, they're the 2 of the top 3 teams in terms of strikeout rate. Miami, they really don't strike out all too much. They're actually a bottom 10 strikeout team. I think maybe even a bottom 5 strikeout team in the league. They're able to generate contact. They don't strike out a whole lot, which is completely opposite to how it was at the start of the season. So the data I was looking at is from June 1st until now. So just the past 2 months. And I even looked at data from the All-Star break until now, and it was the same thing. Against right-handed pitching, Miami pretty down there in the list in terms of strikeouts. But still, Eflin, I think as a floor play, kind of provides the safest route to go amongst these top 3. But in terms of like floor plus upside, I have to give the edge to Ryan. Ryan, he's allowed quite a few home runs, as you can see in these past 5 games. Seattle, yeah, they have some pop in their bats, but it's not an offense that I'm like super terrified about. But even with allowing all of these home runs and obviously the subsequent earned runs that come with them, he's been able to generate, 15 to 25 DK points in them, because you can see he's been buoyed by double-digit strikeout games, and now he's got like one of the top strikeout teams in the league in Seattle. So at home, Ryan, I think he's going to be a phenomenal play here. Going back to Eflin real quick, home road splits. Definitely got to talk about home road splits. At home, he has been elite. 25 DK points so far on the season, 10-1, an ERA of only 2. On the road, completely different guy. And we're over halfway through the season. Like, this is pretty, we always want more data, but this is, data that's been a trend here all season for 4 months now. And it's kind of similar to what we talked about with Urias for the Dodgers last week. We said, we're not really on Urias at all against Baltimore. Yeah, the Baltimore offense had been struggling, but still, Urias home road splits. We didn't want him on the road, especially in that small ballpark of Camden Yards. And then he allowed 600 runs in the first 2 innings. But yeah, so I do think that Eflin is going to be a nice floor play given that as well. Miller, I do have him ranked 3rd among here, above Peralta, but below Ryan and Eflin. I want him to show that he can go past 75 pitches. He has earlier on the season before he got injured. He's made 2 starts in the majors since he was injured. But still, I was hoping for more than a 5-pitch bump in his second start. So if he only gets another 5-pitch bump to maybe 80 pitches, I want him to be pitching more than 80 pitches. But regardless, he's going up against Minnesota, who's got a 30% strikeout rate as a team, which is just unreal. Since June 1st, it's mind-boggling how much Minnesota strikes out. So he's definitely got that upside to him there, but still. I really wish he would go more than 75 pitches in terms of that. So looking at the sheet here, you kind of see everything at once, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, Ryan, Eflin, I think Ryan has the best upside. Eflin, can provide that nice floor. Miller, wish he had a higher pitch count. Peralta, kind of leftover scraps. I really don't have any interest in Sandy Alcantara whatsoever. He's 8.6K, I think. 8.3K. I'm looking for like 20 DK points. Can I see this pitcher getting 2.5 times his salary? So if they're 8K, I'm hoping for 20 DK points. 8 times 2, 0.5, 20. You get it. He's only had 20 DK points in one of his past 13 starts. Now he's going up against Tampa Bay, on the road in Tampa Bay. Not really what you want to see. So I don't have much interest in Alcantara at all. Now, the Tampa Bay offense has really, really dropped off from earlier on in the season. But still, again, the salary and what he's been able to generate over the past 3 months just do not match up at all. Lively going up against Milwaukee. Again, really don't have too much interest in Lively and his limited strikeout rate. Going into the cheap tier, Williams is going to be number one amongst these guys. This game has the highest implied run total. This game has the highest over-under total that Vegas has set at 10.5. They're expecting a whole lot of runs here. Evan Williams, he's played Kansas City twice so far this season, and both of them have gone pretty good, 26 and 20 DK points. Now, Williams and Marsh, he's going to be the pitcher for Kansas City. Neighbors setting off fireworks. But these are two higher prospects for these organizations. Marsh, he's got strikeout stuff as well, but the big thing with Marsh is he really struggles, or he has struggled so far this season in terms of the long ball. So you can see he's allowed 8 home runs in his first 4 starts in the big leagues. Going up against Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't have too many home run bats in their lineup. Obviously, they have a couple, but they've been able to generate certainly some more offense here as of late. Sorry about the fireworks. I don't know why they're setting them off on July 25th, but who knows. But yeah, so Williams, he's already faced Kansas City twice. Going to have some interest in him there. Marsh is really more for like strikeout upside, which I don't think there's going to be too much of it because Cleveland is a very low strikeout team, and their offense has been a whole lot better. Irvin and Lambert. Lambert, he was more of a long relief guy for Colorado throughout the course of the season, but they're kind of turning him into a starter. They sent him down to the minors, kind of getting him into the starter's role just because they don't have any starting pitching whatsoever. 177 pitches in his last start out against Miami. Now he's got another decent matchup against Washington. If he can go 80 pitches, if you're talking about a 85 pitch pitcher at 5K against a weak offense, you're going to have some interest, especially if you're building multiple lineups. But Irvin going up against Colorado. Colorado is the worst team in the league against right-handed pitching, according to WRC+. They are also the second highest strikeout team against right-handed pitching. So I'm going to have a little bit of interest in Cole Irvin here. My main concern is he normally goes 80 to 90 pitches. He went 111 in his last start. They're not giving him any extra rest. He's going on the 5 days. So that is concerning. But given the matchup, given everything else, it lines up for Irvin to do well here. But at the same time, I get really concerned when they're throwing a pitcher out there for an extra 20 to 25 pitches, and they're not going to give him any extra rest. So, yeah, so that's kind of where things stand out with the pitchers. I might even flip-flop Irvin and Marsh here. I think that's what I'm going to do. Flip-flop those guys. And, yeah, so in terms of the bats, Cleveland, you're going to be searching for those bats that, can provide some pop, provide some power. Jose Ramirez, obviously. Naylor, he's going to have that nice lefty-righty matchup. He can certainly hit the long ball. He's got a couple, 14 home runs on the season. See, now I'm curious. When I make a guess, I want to see if I'm right. Let's see. Oh, I was wrong. 15. It was one off. Not bad. I only know that because I was looking at him the other day. But yeah, so 15 home runs. He's been doing well. When Cleveland was really generating offense, like 2 weeks ago, he was like the heartbeat of it. Yeah, like look at this. He was an absolute stud. Cleveland, they've been better as a weight on offense. I'm going to have a lot of interest in them. Milwaukee and Tampa Bay, Am I really thrilled about them? No. I really think that there's a big gap between Cleveland and then Milwaukee and Tampa Bay. But I do like the matchups. Like I said, Alcantara doesn't really scare me at all. And Lively, yeah, he has been pitching okay. But I really think that he's going to be due for some regression here. And I do like the Milwaukee bats in terms of that. GPP, Cincinnati, I mean, it's a day that ends in Y. Cincinnati being a very intriguing GPP play comes into play as well. But it's mainly due to Peralta really being an up and down kind of pitcher. Like when he is off, he really, really struggles. And the Cincinnati team can certainly pour it on with home runs, but also the stolen base upside. Washington, Colorado, Kansas City. Not the greatest of offenses, but certainly offenses that are in matchups that should not scare you too much. Again, Colorado's going up against Irvin, who pitched 20, 25 pitches more than he normally does and isn't going to get any extra rest, which is certainly concerning. And then Washington's going up against Lambert. Not too scared about him. And then Kansas City facing off against Williams. Who knows? Who knows? GPP, maybe they're over in the leftovers here with Miami going up against Eflin. And then cheap, Seattle and Minnesota. I think between these two teams, only 2 bats are above like 3.3K. Rodriguez, Correa, 3.4K. So while it is the nice pitching matchup here and only a 7.5 over-under, still, in a game between two teams where there's only 2 bats on either side that are above 3.4K, there's going to be runs scored. There's going to be certainly value to find in this game here as well. So that kind of covers everything on the slate. I know I didn't dive too deep into the individual bats, but I don't think it's going to be too hard to find the ones that you're going to have some interest in here. So I'll leave this sheet up here once again. We're not going to have a video for the night slate. That's also 5 games. Maybe we'll drop some comments down in the section below just to give some of our thoughts. So yeah, thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. Sorry for the fireworks. I do have my window open here, but yeah, good luck in your early slate, and hopefully we can do something well in the night slate as well. See ya.